Illustrator is a vector graphic application, so this is not the best tool to achieve photorealism in your illustrations. Having said that, there is a tool with which some people who has a lot of time and are very patient can achieve amazing things. So this pepper illustration, for instance, obviously is based on a photo reference, but it has been recreated with vector objects to very closely match the original image. To show you that this is actually vectors, I'm going to switch to the outline view, which is Command or Control Y or View Outline. And then you can see that all these elements are meshes, even the shadow itself. And that's what we are going to talk about in this video, the gradient meshes, which is a brilliant feature, although it's quite tricky to master it. But if you are not impressed by this pepper, here's some more examples, some crazy illustrations that are all done in Illustrator and mainly using this feature, the gradient mesh, to achieve these smooth transitions on surfaces and details. I also attempted once a full portrait done in Illustrator, and I used the original reference photo, which you can see here on the left. And I can show you that what I achieved here was again mainly thanks to the gradient meshes. So I can switch again to outline view, and you can see almost everything here is based on meshes, especially the skin. So let's explore how this feature actually works. I'm going to start with a very simple example, a circle. So when you have an object selected, all you have to do to turn that into a gradient mesh is to go up to the Object menu and choose Create Gradient Mesh. Once you clicked on that, you will be able to decide how many rows and columns you want. Based on that, there will be points created in these intersections and on the edges, which you will be able to target and adjust their color. The more rows and columns you have, obviously, the more detail you can add. But having a lot of points might make it also difficult to work with an object. Of course, you can always add more if you feel like you have started with too less. There is also an option here called Appearance, with which you can already assign a gradient. But I am going to again start with Flat View, and I will click OK. So once you have your mesh ready, you can switch to the Direct Selection tool and select a point. Let's just start with this point here. And now I can switch the color for that mesh point and change it to something else. What happens is that all the surrounding mesh points will transition into this new color, and Illustrator is trying to create a nice smooth blending between these points. Even if I choose a quite different color, it will still be able to create a nice blend. Now, if I select another point, maybe this one here, and choose a different color, again the same thing happens. If I pick another color yet again between these, then we will have blending between these points once again. You can of course select multiple points at the same time. So using the Direct Selection tool, I can select this whole column and then apply a color, maybe green in this case. And then once again, we will have blending between these points and the surrounding mesh points. If you want to reset color on mesh points, just select the points you want to change. You can hold down Shift to select multiple, and then press I on the keyboard, which is the eyedropper, and click on whichever color you wish to use. So that way I could reset these points, or I could sample the other color as well nearby, or even just select a color from the swatches panel. If you want to select multiple mesh points, you can also use the lasso tool. If you remember, the shortcut is Q, with which you can select a certain area and then change the colors either using the swatches or even the color panel. Another useful technique that you shouldn't forget is that if you have the whole object selected and you want to change all the colors together, you can go up to the Recolor Artwork, where you will see a list of all these colors. Then you can go into either Edit or stay in Assign and play around with the colors here. So if you want to get them closer to each other, you can do this, or you can use the link harmony colors and move them all at once on the color wheel, or you can even use one of the harmony rules if you want to get them closer and then continue moving them on the color wheel. If you want to move mesh points around on the object, that's also possible. Just select the direct selection tool, select whichever point you want to move, and then simply drag it around. This way you can create distortions on the surface of an object, and it will already start to feel like it's a bit 3D because of these smooth transitions. And if I select this point here as well, maybe just push it in, and that, you can see how it's creating the illusion of actual changes to the surface, almost like sculpting. And of course we can also change the actual shape or outline by dragging these mesh points around. And you also have handle points, so it's completely adjustable, everything, so all anchor points and mesh points. And if you feel like you're running out of points, so it's not smooth enough and you would like to add some more mesh points, then you can use the tool called Mesh Tool. The shortcut is U, with which you can click on an object and define a whole new set of points by adding a new horizontal and vertical line. And again, all the intersections with the other lines will become mesh points. So having this one selected, I can use the eyedropper and pick a similar color in that area if I want to blend it in. And just to turn this blob into something more exciting, I'm going to speed up my video and show you my process, which is going to be only about using the techniques I explained in this video.